Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, where my good friends Dedeker and Jace teach me, a born and raised atheist, all about the Bible. So, Jason Dedeker, how we doing today?
It's a snowstorm outside. That's how we're doing today.
Yeah, where you are, not where I am.
Yeah, we woke up to flurries of snow all over the place. The streets are all covered with snow. This weekend, I think it's on Saturday, we're going to have a high of -4. So it is an exciting time to be in Minnesota
horrifying.
right now.
Yeah, we have tickets to go walk around on a frozen lake because I guess that's what they charge money for out here in
That's
Minnesota.
very cool. That sounds really fun. Like, in theory, I said that to both of you. You were talking about like your beautiful, snowy, outdoors experience, and I kind of was jealous, but then I was like, no, I'm warm, and it's 60 degrees in Los Angeles right now, so it's all right. I'm okay with that.
I can't even imagine. I have acclimated, not in the sense of getting used to it, but more in the sense of now when there's a day that's 32 degrees, I'm like, whoa, it's beautiful. It's balmy. Wow, so comfortable. Want to walk around outside, have a barbecue.
That's incredible. Wow. No, and I would just be dying in 32, just completely crawled into a blankie.
Yeah.
Well, also, Jace, why don't you talk about the special segment or tease it just slightly that we've got going on at the end of the episode today?
Yeah, so slight tease for everyone out there. We have a new segment that we're going to be doing for the next, roughly year and a half. So be sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode to check that out. And that's it. I'm not going to say any more. I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
They got to wait.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Got to make them work for it.
I know last time we talked about porcupines, and that was fun. And
Lots
I
of
looked
animals.
Yes, lots of animals. Wait, ostriches and goats dancing?
Yeah, it was like he was predicting about how Yahweh is going to make it just a desolate place, that it's like a swamp with full of porcupines.
Porcupines.
and then, like exploding porcupines or porcupines.
Yep.
And a place where ostriches and goats just love to dance.
Well, and
A
remember,
terrible place to be.
and the wolves were going to like howl in your castles, and it was just whole sort of fantasy wonderland, really.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun, but then also, I don't know. I'm sad for these animals that probably are going to die by Yahweh's hand or something.
No, that's the opposite. He's going to make it so
he's going to make it beautiful.
So unappealing to humans, but very appealing to porcupines.
I see. Thank you. Okay, good. Well, I don't exactly know if that would be the case. I'm sure, like, if it were appealing for the animals, it would also be fairly okay for the humans, but whatever. Whatever, God, whatever.
I mean, say that to the polar bears. Oh, my God.
Dedeker's already drunk. Already drunk.
I literally had 2 sips of beer. I cannot say the names of animals today. I'm going to stop.
All right, well, what are you drinking? What's happening over there?
Okay, so this is wild. So I picked out this beer from Indeed Brewing Company, which is based here in Minnesota.
Okay.
It's their Chai Velvet beer, which is ale with chai spices and lactose. It's interesting. They put lactose, not like milk or cream. They're like lactose. That's what the
still
people
can't
want.
drink it personally,
Now,
but yes.
It's quite nice. It's very subtle. Like, you'd think that it'd be like kind of overpowering, but it's this really nice, subtly chai flavor with like a little bit of creaminess, like a cream ale almost.
Is
I'm
it
into
a
it.
heavy beer? Like, what's the
ale.
percentage?
The percentage is 7.5, so
Okay,
not nearly
it's
the monster that I
midline.
had last week. Yeah, kind of mid-range. I've been really enjoying it so far, although I guess it's been messing me up.
Just having it near you.
My tongue is like, what flavor? I'm so confused. I'm going to forget English.
Yeah, no worries. Jace, what are you drinking today?
So I have really been enjoying being in Minnesota and getting all the local beers because there's a ton of local breweries around here. And this one is from Bad Weather Brewing Company, which fits.
Is what's currently happening outside
And
your window.
I bought this purely for the name. It's called Hopromancer. And
Oh, that's cute.
they even really like leaned into the whole sort of role-playing game type thing. And on the back, there's
Whoa.
like little sliders of how much color, how much malt, how much hops. So this has like a pretty high stat score for hops, but kind of like middle to low on malt and color. Anyway, it turns out to be pretty tasty, even though I bought it
Oh, that's lovely.
really just for the name. But it's quite nice.
Well,
What is a hopromancer? Is that someone who raises dead hops from the dead?
And then
Like
creates
spent
delicious
hops?
beer.
Yeah, like already spent hops that are gross, like the mash that no one wants, but they make a delicious beer out of it.
Maybe they take like the hops that have already been used to make beers and they like revive them and make new
They
beers.
take
with
the
them.
garbage hop.
The garbage
garbage
hops,
hops.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the garbage grapes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Perfect.
There you go.
Emily,
Beautiful.
what beautiful drink do you have for us today?
Well, I had some basil and I had some cucumbers, so I made a basil cucumber martini.
Oh,
Um,
garden of cucumbers.
Yeah, it is
Love
kind of
it.
a beautiful garden drink. Just muddle some basil and cucumber, throw in some lime. I also put in Cointreau because I saw that in for a little bit of an orangey flavor to kind of complement the freshness. And then just some agave and gin. So it's quite lovely. Yeah, it tastes
Nice.
very refreshing, although I'm assuming it is much higher in proof than both of what you're drinking.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Well, we have a fairly big episode today. Last
Yeah.
week was kind of small. This is a big one. So maybe we won't have so many witty repartee moments as we usually do.
Are
Just
you
kinda-
kidding me? We're going to make sure that Jace cranks that joke-o-meter to freaking 11 this
Okay.
time.
Okay.
That's true.
That's very important. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So what are we reading today?
Yeah, today we are continuing on with Isaiah chapters, 15 through 19. 5 chapters of Isaiah today. 5 chapters of
They're
wild,
short, but
wild prophecies. If you want to read along with us, you can go to drunkbiblestudy.com/read. As we get started, we want to remind everyone to read responsibly and drink responsibly.
You can drink along with us, or you can listen while you're in the car.
but please do not do both at the same time.
And with that, Isaiah 15. Isaiah 15. The burden of Moab, period. For
Is that
in
the
an-
header?
I don't know. Is that supposed to be the header? Do you see a header in other translations, Jace?
The NIV says a prophecy against Moab, colon. The Message says a
Oh.
message concerning Moab, colon.
Okay. Okay. So REBCC Moab. For in a night, Ar of Moab is laid waste and brought to nothing. For in a night, Kir of Moab is laid waste and brought to nothing. They are gone up to Baeth and to Dibon, to the high places to weep. Moab wails over Nebo and over Medeba. On all their heads is baldness. Every beard is cut off.
Oh, gosh. We learned that's like the
embarrassing.
worst. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not supposed to ever cut their beards? Is it an ever situation?
I don't know. These are the Moabites. Moabites, I don't know. They follow different rules with the
okay.
beards.
The people who got shamed with their beards way back with Saul
right.
was like shaving half their beard off, I think, and also
Oh, yeah.
cutting off like the bottom half of their dresses.
so their junk was hanging out.
Yeah. So
Yes,
a little bit
yes.
different. But I think this
Okay.
is supposed to be bad, though. That they're all,
Okay.
that their heads are shaved and their beards are shaved is...
No good.
In their streets they gird themselves with sackcloth. On their housetops and in their broad places everyone wails, weeping abundantly. Heshbon cries out, and Elielele. Their voice is heard, even to Jahaz. Therefore the armed men of Moab cry aloud. His soul trembles within him. My heart cries out for Moab. Her nobles flee to Zoar, to Eglath Shalishia. For by the ascent of Luhith, with weeping they go up. For in the way of Horonaim, they raise up a cry of destruction. Getting lots of name drops.
Emily, aren't you
this
glad?
time around?
Aren't you glad the Stedekar got this
yes,
one?
I am. Absolutely. That is just what I was thinking. I'm like, ooh, how the tables have turned. It's lovely.
For the waters of Nimrim shall be desolate.
Ooh, Nimrim. That's good.
Yeah.
You're in Nimrim.
I think maybe for the bonus we should try to find out what are these places actually? Where are they?
Sure,
do
we
they
can do
correspond to
that.
any kind of real life location?
We've heard some of these before. Like
have,
Jahaz hands we've been to before.
Jahaz,
the Jahaz
hands. Yes.
For the grass is withered away, the tender grass fails, there is no green thing. Therefore the abundance they have gotten, and that which they have laid up, shall they carry away over the brook of the willows. For the cry is gone round about the borders of Moab, the wailing of it to Eglaim, and the wailing of it to Beer Elim. For the waters of Dimon are full of blood, for I will
Whoa.
bring yet more on Dimon. A lion on them of Moab that escape. A lion. Okay, hold on. A lion
Okay.
on them of Moab
Is
that
this a-
escape. It's like a pox on both your houses.
Is it a metaphorical lion?
It could be. It could be quite literal, though. Yahweh loves using
I kn-
literal lions.
Yes,
to teach fools
that's why I'm
lessons.
asking.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for the best translation here, and the King James says, "Lions upon him that escapeth of Moab." So it's
That's
maybe
good.
like even the ones who escape will then get eaten by lions.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
A lion on them of Moab that escape, and on the remnant of the land. That's the end of the chapter. Well, short,
So-
sweet
Wow,
prophecy.
love that.
Moab's like super effed.
Supposedly.
Yes.
Cool.
It's prophesied that they're super effed.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, chapter 16. Send you the lambs for the ruler of the land from Selah to the wilderness, to the mountain of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be that, as wandering birds, as a scattered nest, so shall the daughters of Moab be at the fords of the Arnon.
Really,
Little-
still continuing with the animals.
Yeah.
Like, so
I
many
know.
animals.
It's great.
Well, he likes them. Maybe he's a zookeeper. He's like Matthew. What is it? Not Matthew. Who's the guy in We Bought a Zoo?
Oh,
Matt
is it
Damon.
frickin-
Matt Damon.
Damon. It is Matthew.
That wasn't
Matthew
Mark-
Damon.
That wasn't.
Yes, Matthew Damon and Scarlett Johansson. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. Cool.
Give counsel. Execute justice. Make your shade as the night in the midst of the noonday. Hide the outcasts. Don't betray the fugitive. Let my outcasts dwell with you. As for Moab, be a covert to him from the face of the destroyer.
Wait, I'm sorry.
the-
What? Who?
I
don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm
I don't
just
know.
rolling with it. I'm just rolling with it until we get something.
I'm
that
just
makes
letting
some
it
sense.
wash over me.
Yeah, you kind of.
I'm just kind of
like a trip, right? You just like
Sure,
Isaiah's
yeah,
doing
sure,
right now.
okay,
you
yeah,
gotta just
yeah.
not resist it and just let it wash over you, and then
Yeah.
it all makes sense later.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look
the
at the message anyway to
extortioner-
try to understand while you
You're
read
like,
this.
but I really need some context here.
A buzzkill.
What a
For
Debbie
the
Downer.
extortioner is brought to nothing. Destruction ceases, and the oppressors are consumed out of the land. A throne shall be established in loving kindness,
Oh.
and one shall sit thereon in truth, in the tent of David, judging and seeking justice, and swift to do righteousness. We have heard of the pride of Moab, that he is very proud, even of his ignorance and
Arrogance.
his pride, even of his arrogance and his pride. Did I mention his pride?
I like. You know
And-
what? I really love the idea of being proud of your arrogance. Because then it's just sort of a perpetual circle of just always feeling great about yourself, you know?
That's true. Maybe that's the key to just perpetual happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
And perpetual unhappiness for everyone around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Even of his arrogance and his pride and his wrath, his boastings are nothing. Therefore shall Moab wail for Moab. Everyone shall wail. You're gonna wail, and you're gonna wail, you're gonna wail. For the raisin cakes of Kir Hareseth shall you mourn, utterly stricken. Raisin cakes.
What's a
Raisin,
raisin cake?
is it?
What does it sound like? It's got to be a cake of raisins, right?
Yeah,
or maybe it's like a
but-
delicious like rum raisin cake. That'd be tasty.
I exactly. I wanted you to give me like a Fig Newton equivalent.
Right.
This is
But
this
you
is the Fig
haven't.
Newton equivalent, but for the Moabites. This is
Okay.
what they use for healing their kings when their
I
kings
see.
have gross
Is-
infected wounds.
Is Raisin Newtons, yeah.
Raisin
Yeah.
Newtons.
In
Ew.
in the Message, she translates it as fruitcakes,
Oh,
Okay.
which
that
I
could
don't
be
think
that
anyone's-
could be anything then.
No one's weeping for fruitcakes or mourning for fruitcakes. A raisin cake, though, a delicious rum raisin cake, or like a raisin bagel, or like a cinnamon raisin something or other, I would mourn for that if it was taken away from me. I would be utterly stricken.
yeah.
If you offered me some cinnamon raisin toast and then took it away, I would cry.
This must have
If it
been
were-
this must have been one of the like a delicacy in their area, kind of like Turkish delights or something, where when you have one now, you're like,
You're like, what?
They're
Why
okay.
did Edmund sell out his family for this?
right. But maybe at the time they were really into these fruitcakes.
Well, before there was like refined sugar, yeah, raisins are like the best thing you've ever had.
Well, if it were a cinnamon raisin cookie, I'd be all about it. But otherwise, whatever.
How are you on oatmeal raisin?
Yeah, that too.
Love that. Love those. Everyone hates them. Love them.
No,
Okay.
they're so good.
All right, so for the raisin cake / cookie / Newtons of Kir Hareseth shall you mourn, utterly stricken. For the fields of Heshbon languish, and the vine of Sibmah. The lords of the nations have broken down the choice branches of it, which reached even to Jazer, which
Choice.
wandered into the wilderness. Its shoots were spread abroad, they passed over the sea. Therefore I will weep with the weeping of Jazer for the vine of Sibmah. I will water you with my tears, Heshbon and Elealeh, for on your summer fruits. For on your summer fruits and on your harvest the battle shout has fallen. I feel like there's a fair amount of metaphor here that I'm not picking up on.
Jace, do you want to remember when you were looking up stuff and then
Yeah.
you never like told us what you looked up? So
I'm doing sort of a meta version of what Dedeker said, where she's just letting it wash over her, and I'm reading along at the
Not.
same time in the Message and also letting it wash over me because it's also difficult to understand. Because
Okay.
I just can't ever tell who you is and who I is in this context, right?
I is probably
Is it Isaiah? Is it Yahweh? Is it
don't
Israel? That's the thing. I just don't know. But like, okay, here's what I've taken away from this though is
okay.
the thing about like calling out to like be saved or whatever is saying that when this happens, Moab is going to call out to Israel saying, take us in, like, give us shelter, please help us. But then it goes right on to be like, and we've all heard of their pride, their world famous pride. Yeah, and then that's the thing. And then it goes on. It's like, I'll mingle my tears with yours. The joyful shouting at harvest is gone. I'm like, are you actually sad? Or is it like, I cry for you, this is the world's smallest violin? Like, I don't, you know.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
He was just being
This hurt-
sassy.
It's like, this hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. Summer fruits, yes. Gladness is taken away, and joy out of the fruitful field. And in the vineyards there shall be no singing, neither joyful noise. Nobody shall tread out wine in the presses. I have made the vintage shout to cease. Do you shout when you're making wine? Is it? I guess it's a party.
I don't
guess if
know.
we're all
You're
gathering
like,
and we're like
yeah.
crushing, if we're like crushing grapes, it's a party,
Like
right?
in The Sims, Dedeker. Blanana! That's what they're doing.
They're crushing grapes and
Yeah.
making joyful noises.
Exactly.
Why, my heart sounds like a harp for Moab, and my inward parts for Kir Heres.
Oh my. Wait, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
What's the relationship here exactly?
Is Keir Harris a guy that he's like...
My inward
Has feelings
parts
for it?
long for it.
Definitely a place. I thought Kir Harris was the place where the raisin cakes came from, that they don't have in Moab anymore.
No, that's Kir Hareseth. Different.
Ah, shoot. Apparently, Kir is a city in Moab in the Bible, according to
Okay.
Wikipedia, at least. So
Okay.
I think it's just another
Well,
big city.
I mean, we got that much information.
But what's the inward parts?
inward parts?
Some people are saying your kidneys. Some people
Your
are
spleen,
saying...
maybe.
Wait, what is this? Someone said his bowels sound like a harp?
Oh,
What?
yeah, that's a thing that okay. This is purely like third-hand information. So
Okay.
all y'all out there who are
Okay.
actual scholars, feel free to correct me if you must, just be gentle. But what I heard is that in the West, for many hundreds of years, not from the beginning of time, but for many hundreds of years, we consider the heart to be the seat of our emotions, right?
Okay.
You know, we have all these metaphors about your heart breaking or being full or open,
Sure.
all those things. And that in many places in the ancient world, and specifically in the ancient Hebrew world, it was actually your bowels, your gut.
It's like,
You know?
it's like
Your
that, baby.
gut is your emotion?
Baby, I love you so much. It makes me want to
No,
poop. Makes
Really?
me want to poop.
makes me want to poop.
Love you so much. It makes me want to poop.
Yeah. And I remember there was a Christian comedian who made a joke about like my achy breaky bowels and stuff like that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So I think that's the thing is this was probably translated from the Hebrew word for actually bowels, meaning the seat of one's emotions.
Okay.
Honestly, it's true though, because it's like when you're scared or excited, you get this butterflies in your stomach. And
Yeah. No, yeah.
Or the rock in the pit of your stomach, whatever it is. So
Totally.
it makes sense why you could come to that conclusion.
I'm looking up these inward parts here, and I mean, the translations that the translators over the years have done, the Jewish Bible says everything in me. The King...
everything.
Everything in me.
In me.
In me, yep. The King James just says, and mine inward parts, which is great.
Mine inward parts.
NIV says, my inmost being, and the Message says, my soul.
I think we can look
That's
this up
nice.
at the bonus
Yeah,
and see,
inward parts.
get down to the bottom what the actual word is.
Yeah.
It's funny that one conflates like my soul with my bowels.
But where
I
does
mean,
the
maybe-
soul live, Emily?
I don't know. I feel like it's just an abstract thing more than anything.
All right, right in the rectum. That's what I say.
I don't know if it like is it within a body part. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. It seems fairly abstract, like an abstract concept to me. Okay, bring it home, Dedeker.
It shall happen when Moab presents himself, when he wearies himself on the high place and shall come to his sanctuary to pray, that he shall not prevail. This is the word that Yahweh spoke concerning Moab in time past. But now Yahweh has spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of a hireling, the glory of Moab shall be brought into contempt with all his great multitude, and the remnant shall be very small and of no account.
What?
The end
Wow.
of the chapter. Yeah.
Okay, can I read
just
you
happened?
that conclusion from the Message here?
Please.
So, okay.
Please do.
So everything you read up to this point was all indented, like it was part of a poem. In this case, I guess part of a prophecy, up until the last 2 verses, and then it unindents, and it says, "This is God's earlier message on Moab."
You made like a
It was read.
you
6 months ago.
redacted this statement. Like what happened
Like
here?
a voicemail, maybe? I don't know. So this is God's earlier message on Moab. God's updated message is, in 3 years, no longer than the term of an enlisted soldier, Moab's impressive presence will be gone. That splendid hot air balloon will be punctured. And instead...
Excuse me?
And that metaphors the kids will understand,
Hot air balloon, you
Eugene.
know. How out of touch was Eugene, though? Like, just at least a bit. Like,
I don't
quite
know.
a
Hot air
bit.
balloons are pretty rad.
I mean, they are pretty cool.
Sure. I've never been on one. You have, Dedeker.
I've been in like 3.
Wow. God.
No,
Hey.
actually just 2. 2. I've been in 2.
Still.
It's almost 3.
Gosh.
They're rad.
2 is almost
that
3.
it, Jay?
You're right. Hold on.
that
There's
it,
a
Jace?
couple last
Okay.
lines
Yeah.
here. And instead of a vigorous population, just a few shuffling bums panhandling handouts.
Shuffling bums. Just like the 3 of
Panhandling
us.
handouts.
That's definitely what we are. Shuffling along off to Buffalo.
Wow. Anyway, that's
I
Eugene.
love Isaiah.
Eugene, ladies and gentlemen.
And Eugene. I love Eugene too.
I love Eugene trying to translate Isaiah.
He's great.
He's doing his best. Okay, he's
is.
doing his best.
It's a delight.
I just,
It is.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, Eugene, like around the time that the Message came out, was already in his like 60s, 50s, or
Exactly.
60s, something like
He
that.
had no
So-
reason whatsoever
he's
to
a
actually be
boomer.
in touch in normal life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a boomer, and that's fine.
I think he's
trying his
pre-boomer.
best.
I think he's
Is
pre-boomer.
he?
I
Is
think
he like?
he's slightly,
Is he the
slightly
greatest?
pre-boomer.
Is he of the greatest generation?
He's probably in
I
between.
mean, he is the greatest. So, yeah, baby boomers are people born from 1946 on, and Eugene was born in 1932.
All right.
He is in the kind of greatest generation. That was like during World War II, or a little bit before.
his generation is known as the silent generation.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, how sad! That's kind of sad.
It is a little sad, yeah.
Well, it is
Like, there's,
sad.
like-
Can we? I'm sorry. Can
And
we
then
talk
over
about,
here, and then in the
can
middle
we-
is the silent
We
one.
talk about
Okay,
topics that
sorry,
are more relevant
sorry.
to us, like people enjoying our show and sharing it with their friends and
Yeah,
Oh,
helping us
I
Dude,
guess.
just-
keep doing it.
Yeah. So before we go on, we want to take a quick moment to talk to those of you in the silent generation.
no, like everyone else too.
Also, everyone else. You know what? Okay, regardless of your generation, don't let your generation be known as the silent generation because you didn't tell everyone about how much you love drunk Bible study. Instead, go out.
Don't let it happen again.
Don't let it happen again.
And we're back. I think it's my turn, right?
That's you.
Oh boy, here we go. Damascus, a pile of dust and rubble.
It's foreboding.
Okay, so basically he, in this grouping of chapters, he's just talking about all of the
Well, like the
Super-
neighboring kingdoms.
and murdering them, getting
Yeah.
rid of them,
How badly they're
destroying
going to get
them.
punished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How sad. The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city. It shall be a ruinous heap. The cities of Error are forsaken. They shall be for flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress shall cease from Ephraim, and the kingdom of from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. They shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, says Yahweh of hosts. It shall happen in that day that the glory of Jacob... I didn't have voice lesson today, so my high notes are not very warmed up. Sorry! It shall happen in that day that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wean lax.
Whoa.
Ew, what?
Weird.
Blech.
The what of his flesh?
Fatness.
Fatness
Like
of his flesh.
maybe they mean like the collagen?
like that his like flesh is going to hang because he's too skinny because he's starving or
Gross.
something.
Okay. It shall be as when the harvester gathers the standing grain and his arm reaps the ears. Yes, it shall be as when one gleans ears in the valley of Rephaim.
Oh, yeah,
Rephaim?
my favorite pastime.
Yeah.
Gleans ears,
Glean in
reaps
some ears. Yeah, like the ears of
like
wheat,
corn. Oh,
but of
wheat.
wheat.
Are they
Okay.
also called
Of wheat.
ears?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't know that.
that's
Well,
cool.
they're from a similar family. They're all grains.
All right, yeah. Yes, there shall be left therein gleanings as the shaking of an olive tree, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uppermost bough, 4 or 5 in the outmost branches of a fruitful tree, says Yahweh, the God of Israel.
Like
Quick tangent
Just
about
like
olive trees.
big trees, and they're all over the place. What is happening?
I guess this is all a metaphor. The message here says
Yeah, last week was all animals. Now it's all agriculture.
It's animals and agricultural.
or
Animal agriculture. Yes.
or like a couple of ripe olives overlooked in the top of the olive tree, or the 5 or 4 apples that the pickers couldn't reach in the orchard.
Gotta fire them pickers.
Yeah.
So I'm playing Breath of the Wild again right now, and I played it with my mom, and she loves watching me play video games. And it's funny because every single time we passed an apple tree, she's like, apples, 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 apples.
There's so many though is the thing.
Exactly.
Like, you end up with 600
Yeah,
apples by the end of that game. It's like no one cares.
You have an apple party, but no,
I made
it was
so many
hilarious.
apple stews in that
She's like,
game.
get the
Yeah.
apples. So that's what
And
what I
embarrassment
think
of
is
apples.
happening here. Okay. In that day shall men look to their Maker, and their eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel. They shall not look to the altars, the work of their hands, neither shall they have respect to that which their fingers have made, either the Asherim or the sun images. What's a sun image?
Yeah, that's new.
Like a shadow?
We got
No, I'm assuming it's a worship of the sun, right? Like
Yeah.
creating an idol that involves worshiping the sun, which is a super common thing because why wouldn't you, really?
yeah. I mean, of all the things that are clearly a god, the sun is one of them.
Of all the things that clearly, like, literally have a grip on your life or death, the sun, pretty fundamentally.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. In that day shall their strong cities be as the forsaken places in the wood and on the mountain top, which were forsaken from before the children of Israel, and it shall be a desolation. For you have forgotten the God of your salvation, and have not been mindful of the rock of your strength. Therefore you plant pleasant plants, set it with strange slips.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, what?
Now I'm out. I was in for pleasant plants. I'm out for strange slips. What is happening? Okay, pleasant plants. Let's take it one piece at a time. Like a nice ficus, a nice little succulent there.
Yeah,
a little succulent
golden
terrarium.
pothos.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's pleasant.
But then what's
I like
this
that.
about slips?
Strange slips.
They're just strange, Jace. They're strange.
What's Eugene say?
What does
does he
Eugene say? And so, even though you are very religious, planting all sorts of bushes and herbs and trees to honor and influence your fertility gods,
Oh,
and even though you make them...
that's the opposite of the rape of the earth. You can't be doing that. Come on now.
Yeah. And even though you make them grow so well, bursting with buds and sprouts and blossoms, nothing will come of them. Instead of a harvest, you'll get nothing but grief and pain. Pain, pain. It's pain 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, calm down, Eugene. Jeez. He's a ridiculous human.
Okay. He's like, how dare you plant trees?
Yeah. No,
Yahweh
How
hates
dare that be a part of
trees.
your worship of the earth?
Yeah.
Well, they probably had so many back then. Deforestation wasn't happening at this point, like as much as it
I mean,
happens
people
now.
were cutting down trees, not to the
I
level
know,
that we're
but
cutting down trees
come on,
now.
Dedeker,
But
come on. They didn't have like machinery.
that's true.
Real
They did not
machinery.
have real machinery.
Yeah. Okay. In the day of your planting, you hedge it in.
Clever.
And
That's good.
That's good.
Hedging.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
cute. And in the morning, you make your seed to blossom, but the harvest flees away in the day of grief and of desperate sorrow.
That's pain,
Ah.
pain. That's
Okay.
what that
Pain,
was.
pain,
yeah.
pain, pain.
Okay. Ah, the uproar of many peoples who roar like the roaring of the seas and the rushing of nations that rush like the rushing of mighty waters. The nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters. Yeah, we got it, Isaiah. But he shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like the whirling dust before the storm.
Wow.
At evening, behold, terror, and before the morning they are no more. This is the portion of those who despoil us, and the lot of those who rob us.
I could say
Who's
there's
he talking
something
about? I don't know.
There's something a little bit refreshing about all of these bad prophecies and like talking about all the terrible stuff that's going to happen, having it directed at the enemies of the Israelites rather than it being Yahweh being like, this is what's going to happen, like literally threatening the Israelites with like, this is what's
Right.
going to happen if you don't honor me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
true.
sure there's a little bit of that sprinkled in here. There's kind of the implication of like, if you do the things that these other people do, you're going to get the same treatment.
Yeah.
But there's something that's kind of nice, at least about, I guess, reveling in the punishment that our oppressors are going to get.
Yeah, it's interesting though because the whole prediction is that in like the earlier one about 3 years' time for Damascus is when they'll all be, laid low. But from what we know, it's like a few hundred years after this point that Israel finally gets free of being oppressed by
So
the
this
Syrians.
is just some fantasizing.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting that people still really rely on Isaiah instead of being like, he guessed wrong. Sorry.
Yeah. Well. Okay, shall we move on to chapter 18?
Do it.
Please.
Ah, the land of the rustling of wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sends ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of papyrus on the waters, saying, "Go, you swift messengers, to a nation tall and smooth, to a people awesome from their beginning onward, a nation that measures out and treads down, whose land the rivers divide."
This is great.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Literally awesome people.
Literally, yeah. All you inhabitants of the world and you dwellers on this earth, when an ensign is lifted up on the mountains, look, and when the trumpet is blown, listen. Listen, for thus has Yahweh said to me, I will be still, and I will see in my dwelling place like a clear heat in sunshine, like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest. For before the harvest, when the blossom is over, it's so over, and the flower becomes a ripening grape, he will cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks, and the spreading branches will he take away and cut down.
Yep.
Do people read this and understand it?
I think that if you grew up in an agricultural and ranching community 3,000 years ago, yes.
Interesting.
I'm talking about like your average Bible study student.
Can you paint a picture of what you perceive
Little
to be the
Dedeker,
average?
and granted, Little Dedeker and Big Dedeker are very cerebral, very, very smart. So I don't know. I mean,
like, okay.
did you understand? You didn't read come on, you didn't read this.
I didn't read this.
None of us
What
read
are you
this.
talking
Yeah.
about? Little Dedeker didn't read any of this.
My guess, though.
She definitely would not have read this voluntarily on her own time.
Right.
Ooh, okay.
Is
Yeah.
as good of a student she was, as much of an A student, she was not reading the Bible outside of times unless she was forced to. So
She would have needed a grade for this. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, give me an A and I'll read it, but I don't know if I'll understand it totally,
Exactly.
or would you have?
yes.
My guess, though, realistically, though, of reading this, like, I'm imagining myself, years ago reading this, as a Christian and trying to make sense of it specifically from that lens. It would probably just be a lot of like, wow, a lot of metaphors I don't understand. Gosh, Isaiah was so much smarter than me. I think it'd kind of be that, where you're just sort of like, I don't know, but I'm not supposed to, right? He got it.
Well,
and I
but this
didn't.
is the whole point of having pastors, of having sermons,
Well,
of having people interpreting the text for you.
Yeah, are they doing that? Is that okay, like hear me out. Do you get one pastor who interprets it like really differently than like a different pastor?
Yes.
Is that a thing, or is
Yes.
it like all in sort of the same things going on here?
I mean, every individual is going to want to bring their own kind of little individual mark to it, right? And I mean, of course, you're going to have some pastors who are want to be very intellectual with it. And so they're going to come to the sermon with like, yeah, and I looked up this Greek word actually means this. And so that's why we can actually take the meaning to be this, I don't know. Like it's not necessarily a living text, but is a text that is ripe for interpretation in many, many different ways.
Please, former seminary boy, Jace, please tell us.
I was just gonna jump on and say that, okay, I think from pastor to pastor within the same denomination, for example, you'll still get potentially fairly large differences about some things, but overall they kind of fit one relatively uniform narrative. But if you go from pastor to pastor in different denominations, you could get very, very, very extremely different interpretations of these.
Whoa.
Right? I mean, of everything in the Bible, right? Of what things are literal, what things are symbolism. If they are symbolism, what are they symbolism of, like there's huge,
What are they symbolizing? Yeah.
huge differences. Yeah.
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 Okay. Okay, we're almost done with this chapter.
Okay, do it.
They shall be left together to the ravenous birds of the mountains. Here we go. And to the animals of the earth, and the ravenous birds shall summer on them. What? They're gonna,
Hang out
like-
in the summer, relax.
Yeah, it's like
They have, like, a
it's
summer-
like
Like
the
the
vultures
Hamptons.
version of the Hamptons.
Yeah.
They're
is
summering
just like a dead zebra
on
or
the
something.
dead animals.
Yeah.
That's yikes. And the animals of the earth shall winter on them. So
Of
like
the earth, so like the worms maybe
Oh, got it.
gonna come up and nom nom nom.
In that time shall a present be brought to Yahweh of hosts from a people tall and smooth, even from a
this
people.
is that tall and smooth nation. I love it.
Yeah. Tall and smooth, even from a people awesome from their beginning onward. A
Okay, these
nation-
people, they're back. I
They're
love it.
back. A nation that measures out and treads down, whose land the rivers divide, to the place of the name of Yahweh of hosts, Mount Zion.
Wow. I got to get to the bottom of this tall and
They're
smooth nation.
Ethiopians, right? I thought they were talking about
I thought-
Ethiopia.
But he said like beyond Ethiopia.
Did he?
Could be
Somewhere in-
Ethiopians.
somewhere
Why
in
not?
Egypt. Or
Maybe.
to Egypt. Somewhere
Well, I
in
put it-
Africa, I'm assuming.
I put it down in our bonus to
Okay.
do a little
Okay.
research.
Okay.
Who are these tall and smooth, beautiful people?
Yes.
But I think what we're supposed to get from this,
Freaking
though,
awesome.
based on the message version, though, is that they're tall and he says handsome instead of smooth, but we all know they're smooth. Tall and smooth and awesome, and that like even they are brought low enough to like come to Zion to be like, hey, here's tribute. We're, we submit to you.
What if by smooth he means like smooth operator?
Ooh, I like that they're smooth.
Like a smooth criminal.
Yeah.
Operator.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
It's a good song.
All right. Last chapter of Isaiah for today.
All
Chapter
right,
19.
Let's do it.
This one has a heading: anarchy and
Oh.
chaos and killing.
Whoa.
Cool.
That's the heading from the
like,
message.
That's like half the Bible. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's true. It's true. The burden of Egypt. Oh, so this one's about Egypt now. Behold, Yahweh rides on a swift cloud and comes to Egypt. Colon.
He's like what are
Like
the
a Dragon
things in
Ball
Mario?
boy?
No, what are the things
Oh,
in Mario?
the
Lakitu?
Lakitus. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Lakitu. He's like beep, 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 go, and then all the Mario Kart people go.
Okay. Good.
Got it. That's Yahweh.
And the idols of Egypt shall tremble in his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. I will stir up the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And
Oh God.
What?
He loves fire eating fire, fiery snakes fighting other fiery snakes, and Egyptians fighting Egyptians. He loves just civil
Goodness.
internal conflict.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's what he gets excited about.
Okay.
Keep going.
Good job.
And they-
Good job committing to the bit, Emily.
I didn't listen. This is our PC show, okay? PC.
Yeah.
Or PC.
Okay.
Okay,
So I
gotcha.
can't like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, clean fun on
Okay.
this show.
good, clean, fun.
I will stir
And
up the
drinks.
Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. The spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst of it, and I will destroy the counsel of it, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to those who have familiar spirits, and to wizards.
Yes. Yes. Heck yes.
I will give over the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says the Lord Yahweh of hosts. The waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and become dry. The rivers shall become foul.
Oh.
The streams of Egypt shall be diminished and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither away. Didn't know flags could wither, but all right. The meadows by the Nile, by the brink of the Nile, and all the sown fields of the Nile shall become dry, be driven away, and be no more. The fishermen shall lament, and all those who cast angle into the Nile shall mourn, and those who spread nets on the waters shall languish.
So hold on. So he's predicting the downfall of Egypt right now.
Yeah.
Did it ever actually happen?
I mean, eventually. I don't know if it was any time close to this.
Wait,
It's interesting.
write that for the bonus.
Yeah, the fall of
Did Egypt ever fall?
I mean, I know there's been definitely some
Yeah.
shifts, some political shifts and takeovers and stuff like that. But I'm not up with my history around this time, unfortunately. So to some people, maybe that's obvious. So Annalise in the chat is pointing out that it did get conquered by Rome for a while. I guess that makes sense.
But that would be much
well,
later. Rome is
Didn't
not.
That was
Rome
so much
conquer?
later.
Wait. Jesus dealt with Rome, right?
Yes. Yes. He dealt with them.
He did deal with them.
They
They
were
dealt with
taken
him,
care of.
actually. I don't know.
There's some mutual dealing
Yeah.
that happened.
Okay.
But yes, I think
Got
what you're
it.
trying to say is that around the time
Like,
of the
Rome
Roman
was a
occupation
thing.
of the Middle East, that
Okay.
was when Jesus was around.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Let me get back to how bad
Please,
things
by
are
all
in Egypt. Moreover, those who work in combed flax and those who weave white cloth shall be confounded.
Oh,
yeah?
Just like, oh, my loom is all tangled.
The pillars of Egypt shall be broken to pieces, and all those who work for hire shall be grieved in soul. All the gig workers are going to get.
Ugh.
The princes of Zoan are utterly foolish. The counsel of the wisest counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How do you say to Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where then are your wise men? And let them tell you now, and let them know what Yahweh of hosts has purposed concerning Egypt.
What is this little drama that's playing out?
This is a weird.
What is this
Isaiah
little
was
sketch?
like, I think that he had like a little bit of a brain fart here. He just like couldn't quite write well,
Yeah.
or maybe that was
I
the,
need to
the
know.
World English Bible translation.
I need to know what Eugene says. How Eugene
Yeah.
translates that little sketch.
That
That little one
sketch
act
there.
play.
Okay, let me find the verse number here, starting verse 10. He says, The princes of Zoan are fools, the advisors of Pharaoh stupid. How could any of you dare tell Pharaoh, Trust me, I'm wise. I know what's going on. Why, I'm descended from the old wisdom of Egypt. There's not a wise man or woman left in the country.
It's less exciting.
Yeah,
It's
Cool.
less exciting.
I think it reads about the same as what we just read, really.
Yeah.
The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Memphis are deceived. They have caused Egypt to go astray, who are the cornerstone of her tribes. Yahweh has mixed a spirit of perverseness in the midst of her.
Mixed it like he like threw him into a pot and then like out
I was thinking
came
like a cocktail.
spirit.
Yeah, I thought he was shaking up a cocktail of perverseness.
Oh, I see. I thought it was like double toil and trouble. Like
oh, I
here's a
see. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna add I don't know, frog ear to it or something. Do frogs have ears? No,
More like
probably
a
not.
wheat ear.
A wheat ear. There you
Oh,
go.
that's good. And they have caused Egypt to go astray in every work of it, as a drunken man staggers in his vomit.
Ew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Gross.
Wow.
Ick.
That was very poignant.
Yeah. Neither shall there be for Egypt any work which head or tail, palm branch or rush may do. Oh, and we learned about that. The palm branch and
did,
rush means
yes.
like the highborn and the lowborn.
Yes.
What,
In
is
that-
the palm branch high
The
because it's a
highborn.
palm?
Because it's tall.
Yes. And the rush grows out of like the water in the swamp, so it's
Yeah.
Cool.
low.
Okay.
In that day shall the Egyptians be like women. Am I right?
Ugh,
Oh God.
it's the worst.
You know,
Women.
meetings with women take so long. you read that news story today?
We should make the women not talk because they're talking too much and
They're
women
talking
are
too much. It's like one person raises their hand and then they think everyone needs to talk, and that's why meetings
the women
take
are
so long.
talking too much.
Yeah, Jace, this is what the like head of the Tokyo Olympics committee said today.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all, but that's messed
it's
up.
really not surprising. It's pretty on brand. And he was regretful for
and
his
he
statements,
resigned.
but
he resigned.
Did he? I thought
Wow.
he said he had no intention of resigning.
Those are two very different outcomes to that story.
That was the headline that I saw in multiple places. It was like, he's sorry, but he has no intention of resigning.
He should resign.
Okay. Emily wished it into reality.
We'll tell what actually happened on our bonus episode. Okay, keep going.
Sure, we'll look it up and figure that out. Gosh. Okay. And they shall tremble and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shakes over them. Like,
Why you to the moon?
The land of Judah shall become a terror to Egypt. Everyone to whom mention is made of it shall be afraid because of the purpose of Yahweh of hosts, which he purposes against it. In that day, there shall be 5 cities in the land of Egypt that speak the language of Canaan and swear to Yahweh of hosts. One shall be called the City of Destruction.
Cool.
What
Metal.
city was that?
So metal.
Is it just called the City of Destruction?
It just
It doesn't
says-
have a name other than that?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the City of Destruction.
Cool.
In that day there shall be an altar to Yahweh in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border of it to Yahweh. It shall be for a sign and for a witness to Yahweh of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry to Yahweh because of oppressors, and he will send them a savior and a defender, and he will deliver them. Yahweh shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know Yahweh in that day. Yes, they shall worship with sacrifice and offering, and shall vow a vow to Yahweh, and shall perform it.
I thought that Yahweh was over sacrifices.
Yeah, I thought he had moved on now, but is Isaiah talking about getting back to the good old days?
Maybe. But this is also with Egypt. Maybe he's just like over it with
He's
Israel.
over it with Israel, yeah.
Okay. Yahweh.
But he's like, yeah, okay, give it to me, Egypt. Whatever.
Yahweh will strike Egypt, smiting and healing. And they shall
That's
Classic.
okay.
and they shall return to Yahweh, and he will be entreated of them, and will heal them. In that day there shall be a highway out of Egypt of Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria. That's how highways work. And the Egyptians shall worship with the Assyrians. In that
What
day,
kind of highway
he's-
are we talking about
Yeah,
here?
okay, so he's
we're like-
prophesied a freeway between...
He's like, it's going to be really revolutionary for this time. Truly, like
I
an
gotta
entire-
look into like Isaiah's predictions about Egypt and which
And
ones
these
have actually
highways.
come true.
yeah, yeah. I love maybe
Life
he's-
is a highway. I'm going to ride it all night long.
Maybe
So is
we've
Egypt.
all been confused because he's looking way further into the future, and he's like, guys,
Okay,
like let me
okay.
tell you, there's going to be an interstate highway. I know that
I
doesn't
see
mean
a
anything to you.
highway.
Hold on.
You don't know what that is, but you will. Your kids are going to love it.
I'm pulling up Google Maps right now.
Okay, is there a highway?
I'm gonna see if there's at least a driving route between Damascus
Oh, I'm sure
in
there
Syria
is.
and like Cairo.
Okay,
Let's see what it says.
they mentioned Memphis specifically.
Excuse me?
Memphis. Okay,
There's
not
not
Cairo,
a driving.
Memphis.
There's not a path
Hold
to
on.
drive between Cairo and Memphis.
Hold
Because
on.
you're always walking in Memphis.
She doesn't
Does Memphis?
care.
Hold on. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes, there is a highway.
Okay.
It's Route 15 / Route 45M,
There it is.
and it takes 17 hours and 14 minutes to drive from Memphis in Egypt to Damascus. So he's right.
He's right. There will be a highway, and they will go from one to the other and back again.
Okay.
In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria. They'll be their third. That's great. A blessing in the midst of the earth. Because Yahweh of hosts has blessed them, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. The end.
What does that mean, my inheritance? He's gonna get that when his dad dies or something?
No, I think they inherit from him. I think it's more
Yes.
like they get my inheritance.
Cool.
Y'all, that was a buck wild situation.
time.
Every single one has been.
You just never know what he's going to say
It's
next.
not boring, at least. It's
I
not
appreciate
like,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are so many. I mean, there's so many books in this Bible that we've read where we're like, okay, we can probably expect more of the
just like,
same this week, like more kings slaying other kings or whatever. And it's like similar in that we're like, okay, we can probably expect more prophecies, but it's just you never know.
Never know.
You never know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to come out of his face.
And that's what we have to look forward to next time. But
Okay.
you've all
But-
waited.
but-
You've all waited through the whole episode. And now it is time for our brand new segment that you have to look forward to. And that is... And now it's time for Silly Psalms with DBS, the part of the show where DBS comes out and reads a psalm.
Okay, this is Silly Psalm 1. Let's do it. And I've never read this, but apparently Dedeker had to memorize it. So
I had to
let's-
memorize this one as a
Okay.
baby. Yes.
All right, here we go. Blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of Yahweh. On his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the streams of water, that brings forth its fruits in its season, whose leaf also does not wither. Whatever he does shall prosper. The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish.
Yay.
Okay.
What a silly psalm that was.
It was silly, and I don't really know what happened, but I'm glad that everyone liked it.
It's just, be good, follow Yahweh,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yahweh's
I'm going to hit you.
the way.
Yahweh's the way. I'm going to hit you with our second silly psalm.
Oh, yay.
Why do the nations rage, and the peoples plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth take a stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, Let's break their bonds apart and cast their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens will laugh. The Lord will have them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his anger and terrify them in his wrath. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I will tell of the decree. Yahweh said to me, You are my son. Today, I've become your father.
Wait, who's you?
I think David's writing this stuff.
Probably David.
Yes, probably David. Ask of me, and I will give the nations for your inheritance, the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now, therefore, be wise, you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Give sincere homage to the Son, lest he be angry and you perish on the way, for his wrath will soon be kindled. Blessed are those who take refuge in him.
That was essentially the same kind of thing.
Bravo.
Is that a VeggieTales thing? Do you clap?
I don't know. I just felt like it
On
needed
DBS we do.
clapping. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is our new segment. Instead of listen, everyone, if we had read Psalms all the way through as part of this show, we would literally have been reading Psalms for something like 5 months straight. There's so many of them. So instead, we're going to add a new segment, Silly Psalms with DBS, where we're going to read a couple of them each week for the next year and a half instead. So there you have it.
Get a little dose.
Little dose.
A little dose at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us for Bible study today. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including ad-free episodes, early releases, personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and then write us a nice review on iTunes or Stitcher, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group. Find us on Twitter at Drunk Biblecast, on Instagram at Drunk Bible Study, or send us an email to info@drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Jace Lindgren, Emily Matlack, and me, Dedeker Winston. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from their album Home of the. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.